moron. Medians, medians. Okay, so I always say this, but nobody wants to talk about it. Look at the clouds. Okay, let's see. Well, here's a big square. See the big square? But can you guys see up here? Can you guys see how... Okay, there's the square. Square's right there, so we got to come over here. Look at this. Straight lines. Straight lines. Look at all the straight lines. If you look really closely, it's all straight lines. Like, look. Look at this. The top of it's all a straight line. The sides, the bottom, these are all straight fucking lines. I know I'm crazy, I get it. But if you go outside and you pay attention, go ahead, just pay attention and go look at it before you go talk. Just go look. You see a bunch of straight lines, shaded to look like they're round. I know that sounds weird, but that's what it looks like to me. But what does that matter, right? I posted a thing on Facebook. A random comment that I actually post all over the place. Let me read it to you. This is what I say to, I say to people all the time. It's a copy and paste that I have. I said, Webster's Semitism, according to Webster's and all other dictionaries, means you, quote, a policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. Semitic refers to all of the people of the area. Palestinians, Syrians, and yes, Israelis too. Therefore, anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic mean two completely different things. I love Palestinian people. I do not believe in showing anyone favor, especially anyone that believes they are born superior to me. That, and the belief that everyone else is just goyim. That is the most supremacist set of beliefs in the world, and I am allowed to think that way about those beliefs and choose to not support it. The one thing I do know, I've been begging for someone of that faith/national identity to come talk to me and explain to me what I'm wrong about. Explain to me why we give Israel, a first world country, $3.8 billion, which turns into about 15 billion shekels a year, instead of to fund anti-pedophile groups or veterans groups or women's rights groups or a plethora of other better causes. Explain to me any of the stuff that is supposedly non-existent and explain what other reasons people feel the way they do about Israel. I am a person of color. My grandfather was a concentration camp survivor, supposedly. So you can't just write me off as some dumb skinhead, yet I never have anybody that believes my opinion worthy enough to come try to adjust it. I'm just supposed to believe a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense, well, other than conspiracy and supremacy, because it makes people/cowards uncomfortable talking about it, and or they hate that I am right and people don't like that. I'm open to being wrong, but again, I'm just not worthy enough, apparently. Just look at all the responses I will get on this comment. Anybody who asks questions or points out the incredible hypocrisy and obvious apartheid going on, like when Ben and Jerry's said they, quote, no longer want to sell in illegally occupied territories, still selling in Israel though, and how they instantly got labeled as someone who, quote, hates Jews when Ben & Jerry's is a Jewish company. How does that work? How is it that retirement funds for average people goyim in the U.S. are being threatened over this? How come nobody's really talking about it? Again, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love somebody to just come and explain any of this to me, but nobody seems willing, and apparently I'm just because apparently I'm just beneath you. Am I wrong? I put that I put that all the time. I post that shit everywhere, actually. So I had two, like, old man Jays, you know, in their 50s or 60s, decide to respond. One is talking about, you know, you're an idiot. Look at what's going on in Gaza. We are the blah, blah, like all this shit. It's so interesting to hear, like, for them to come through and then respond to that statement exactly how I need them to. Here, this guy responded to me, said, since when was I crying or a coward? Go check yourself in the mirror. You're a pathetic loser with no shame or intelligence. You can't even process grammar nor accept it. Just like history, Israel is going to do whatever needed to defend itself. Meanwhile, go enjoy all the tech, medicine, and countless other benefits brought to you by them. Whether you feel better in your loser life, deflecting and trying to make misery for others. Key point, we don't care about your opinion or your racism. Your problem is not mine. Sorry, I had to respond to him. I said, clearly you do care. But don't worry, we will remove you. We will remove your pedophile, disgusting cult. Here, look him up. His name is... Oh, where did it go? Oh, because I responded, it won't let me see his name again. Damn. When he responds again, I'll let you know. Hang tight 1 second. Let's see if this... All right. So his name is Alex Rybalov. Rybalov. The up threatening me? The up threatening me. All right, sorry. Alex Rybalov. He's a pedophile. He's a genocide supporter. 6 Mile Road is a really long thing. Really long road. And I'm close to it. Very, very close to it. Why would that matter? I wish I had a group that I could go protest with, because I'm just so... There's a church near me. Keep going. It's going to be a decent amount for the authorities to investigate. Okay. He says, keep going. This is going to be great for the authorities. He's going to tell. I said, he's going to tell on me. He's going to tell on me. Primavera Pizza. No, I'm not. I don't even know where I might be. Fuck, I don't know. Never had Primavera Pizza. Again, 6 Mile is a very long road. They go across the state, and they go across the water and into Wisconsin, actually. Some of them. The 8th mile. I had a girl ask me that one time. Are you from the 8th mile? My friend told me they think the National Guard on DC. Yeah, well, they are. And it's illegal, right? Isn't it illegal to use the military against the people? I always thought that was not okay. The Epstein files are just the distraction, dude. The Epstein files are the distraction. Oh, I'm the gayest guy. Serious. Don't say that. That bothers me. I'm really insecure when some random stranger says something like that. My friend thinks the National Guard and DC are a distraction from the Epstein files, is what I'm trying to say. I accidentally hit enter on the first half. No, I get it. I get it. Most people, like most truthers, most people who are in this category are distracted themselves. They have really good intentions, but they still believe they're not supposed to talk about a certain group of people. And like, you know, Epstein is look at all the squares. Do you guys not see this? You guys not see all the square clouds and then the spaces in between the clouds? How perfectly square this all is? Really? You don't see this? I think it's pretty, it's once you see it, it's undeniable. And I only saw it because one day I was looking. We had an eclipse here in like 17 or something like that. And the day of the eclipse, it was completely crystal clear until like 5 minutes before the eclipse, when clouds like this started to roll in. And it was cool because you could actually look at the eclipse through the sun or through the clouds and see the sun, you know. You didn't need one of those special boxes. But I noticed for the first time how square it all is. Look at this. Look at this. Look right here. Look at how this cloud, right in the, oops. this cloud right in the middle here, right here, could seemingly fit right down into that section of clouds. Do you see that? Do you see how perfectly square all that is? Why is the National Guard even in D.C.? It said crime was down. Well, other than Trump didn't say that. Trump's making up all kinds of shit. This man is fucking insane. I mean, he's like in his mid-80s, right? Let's see. So I tried to get this guy to come to the live feed, and he won't, apparently. He's a clown. He's a coward. But I've called him a pedo multiple times, and not once has he denied it. That's what's just so interesting to me. You know? They never seem to want to deny it. Bro, just the meds. She won't come back home, but she'll let you see the kids. Like, this is how desperate they are. First of all, when they say they're dumb shit, they can't even type it right. You know what I mean? Like, it's really interesting how stupid they are. And the guy talking to me did the same shit. He's trying to talk shit, but can't even type it correctly. And of course, this is what these cowards do. When they can't make the actual argument, they just start saying dumb shit. Alex Rybalov. I'm totally content with myself. He says, I'm totally content with myself and have nothing to prove when I called him a pedo. Your problems are yours, not mine. Who is Hyman Rickover? Maybe people should answer that question, shouldn't they? You are Dr. Homosexuality. Like, again, that doesn't bother me at all. I couldn't care less if you call me gay. Square clouds. What are you trying to say? I'm sure these clouds look the same all over the world. Maybe you should question that. Ha, you don't know shit about subs. Right, I know nothing about it. I recognize the name. Like, you just set it up, right? I recognized the name, and I said people should be asking that question. But you're gonna, gotcha. But at least, the funny thing is, what your stupidity does is it points to the fact that it's working, right? It's working. People are educating themselves. This guy didn't know who Rickover was prior to me saying something. He never looked into it before. Again, look at that shit. Perfectly square. Nature doesn't do that, guys. You see all the squares? You're going to notice it now. You'll notice it on your own. You can deny it all you want. You can pretend like it's nothing, but you'll notice it from now on. Use his egg. You say I should question it, but I am questioning. I mean, clouds are built up moisture in the sky, and it gets really wet when they turn dark, and bam, rain happens, right? No, not at all. Sometimes that happens. I've never mentioned Rickover. Yup, never talked about him. I've never literally asked the people that come on here and claim to be submariners if they know who Rickover is. Nope, never talked about him. Never talked about the J who converted to Protestantism, who was made an admiral but never actually commanded any sort of ships. Like, the whole narrative behind his military service is sketchy. And then when he supposedly was going to school in New York and San Francisco at the same time in the 30s, and then how they just decided that they needed nuclear power submarines in 52, so Rickover built it. That's that. And then has nothing to do with the fact that he controlled the entire submarine program up until his death. Like, he interviewed every single person, interviewed and improved every single person associated with the submarine program. Yeah, I've never mentioned that guy before. Interesting how that works. Oh, look at this crybaby shit. They're imperfectly perfect. Sure. Yep. He controlled more than, THEN, than that? Oh, you're really showing your intelligence now, aren't you there, Papa? Like, this is the desperation it takes, right? This is what, always comes my way when trying to do this. Desperate stupidity. It's really weird. It's really weird. Like, this person literally clearly looked the shit up. And yet when he makes his claims and then I destroy his claims, and he jumps onto something else. And he cries about this and he cries about that. Like, it's just interesting. Grand Canyon would be a good example of imperfectly perfect. It's a good thing you brought up the Grand Canyon. The place where so much weird shit is said to happen, where there are so many areas, large areas where people aren't allowed to go to, and yeah, Grand Canyon, which is just a quarry. It's a quarry. It's fucking. It's not like this natural splendor of blah blah. It's a quarry. It's an old world quarry that something happened and they did what they did. But what are you trying to do? Canary in the coal mine? He controlled nuke subs. Was that his what? How stupid can you be? Like, I don't even bother wasting my time with you people. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. This guy is crying about what I haven't done when the only reason he knows any of this shit is because he watches my feed. And clearly he makes fake profiles so he can watch when certain profiles get blocked. But this is the kind of bullshit that they, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It doesn't matter what the focus is. It's all the same shit. You can go, but you might get lost. No, you can't. No, you can't. There are plenty of places in the Grand Canyon, especially the shit that's all named after Egypt. Like all those monuments or like structures that are named after Egypt. There's plenty of places where you can't go to. There's the whole story of the guy that found the mummies and the Smithsonian came in and all that other shit and it just got covered up. Like, it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. When it comes to the Grand Canyon, we know what they want us to know. That's it. Mm-hmm. Anything to the contrary gets snuffed out, gets removed, gets scrubbed, all that. Arguing about any in particular, any particular argument is difficult because it just depends on how you see things. Some of you don't I mean, some of you think like you're being told the truth, and your arrogance comes in. And it really does come down to arrogance. Like the whole thing, everything comes down to arrogance. You arrogantly believe what you choose to believe because you like it. It's really that simple. If it was anything else, you know, if you had more information, or you would say it, but you don't. And the reality is, all of the information you do have is what they want you to know. And anytime something is interesting or like you want to know more, well, good luck with that. You know, your brain looks like you. But this is literally what it comes down to with everything. Grand Canyon, submarines, you know, time, religion, whatever it is you want to talk about. You literally only know what they want you to know. And the funny thing is it's like with Hollywoodism, right? It's like everybody knows the Jews control Hollywood. We all know that. It's not like it's some secret. You know, it's as obvious as it gets. And yet, if you're not allowed to actually say it. They can say it, but we aren't allowed to actually acknowledge this and point this fact out, right? But there's you know, Hollywoodism is the greatest piece of film ever created. Because it explains to you exactly what is going on. In every, you know, if I've said this time and time again, if I made Hollywoodism, remade it, and I made it word for word, except for when they say us and we, I say they and them, it would get called anti-Semitic tropes, and it would get panned and banned, and, you know, it just wouldn't be allowed. Yet they make the movie, and it just exists. It's not something that's pushed out there for you to go see it. They don't want you to see it. It was a movie, a flex made by them for them. But it shows you that even though like you're told to think one way, they put out other information that's contradictory to what you're supposed to think. They put out, you know, everything that you think of conspiracy wise, that's the shit they want us thinking about. As long as you're worried about the earth shape, as long as you're worried about submarines, as long as you're concerned with Epstein, the dead guy, you know, as long as you think that the devil did it, or Jesus is looking out for you, or whatever kind of bullshit it is, you're distracted. You're not talking about the one thing that we're not supposed to be talking about. The one thing all of this shit is distracting us from, which is the genocide. And the genocide is even a symptom of the problem. Because the genocide is, on this level, is relatively new in the scheme of things. You know, yeah, it's been going on for 75 plus fucking years, but this new variation of it where it's right in your face, that's new. But it's you know, this is the thing that they are doing. And the reality is, when you start looking into Israel and you start really understanding the connections that are made, like I can absolutely prove to you why you're a Christian, why you believe in the Bible. Look at that. We've been shut down to 2 people. Isn't that crazy? Someone that works at EMS in Israel for multiple years, I can tell you there's no genocide. Oh yeah, well, we should believe you. We should believe. There's a guy that worked as an EMS in Israel, well, in Palestine, and he's going to come in here and tell us how there is no genocide happening. Yep, we can see it on TV. You know, we can see it in real time, and it absolutely fits these psychopaths in what they do and how they think about things. That's why you're a Christian. Again, that's what I was saying. It's Israel forever. Yep. See, look, we're going to, oh, he's a Hamas supporter. Oh, I don't believe in Hamas. If Hamas was real, then hell yeah, they would have my support. I'd be sending them money if I could. I'd be doing everything I could to support Hamas. But Hamas isn't real. Hamas is just an Israeli boogeyman. But I don't really expect you to be able to say anything smarter than that, right? I've already unsubscribed and said not interested, but you keep showing up here like a horsefly. I believe you. I absolutely believe you. That's what's happening. I'm being forced on you. Yep. And because again, when YouTube suggests something, you have to watch it. It's not like YouTube has a whole bunch of suggestions or you open it and you can just scroll down and see hundreds of different videos. Apparently YouTube is telling you to watch mine, so you're like, okay YouTube, I do what you tell me. I watch what you tell me. Can you tell me to watch something I like next time, please? Like the stupidity it takes to sit here and it's only a J. It's only some piece of shit J that would make themselves the victim in this situation as well. Oh no, I'm the victim. YouTube is forcing me to come here and spend hours every single day watching you and begging for your attention. Look at that, right angle. Gotta love it. Right angles. Yoop, yoop, yoop. Get back in the house. Get back in the house right now. Do I need to call animal control? You need a straitjacket. Yup, that's what it is. Can't actually address what's being said, so we revert to more crybaby nonsense. I asked my friend this too. I'm going to ask you, and I'll admit I'm selfish. Why should we care about any war that the U.S. aren't in, and we should focus on ourselves and be grateful? First of all, we are definitely in this war, and it would be one thing if you could say, well, just pull out, and that would be one thing. But we have funded one side of this exponentially more than the other. So to say, like, even if we were to walk away, we've still made one side the Goliath in here. Like the mega titan Goliath, as opposed to the little flea, throwing rocks and shit. So to say, why should, well, because we created the problem. If we created the problem, we need to clean up the mess. So that's one thing. Two, the whole notion of we should only care about ourselves. Well, if you care about yourself, and like I've always said, it's the solution to the problem is true selfishness, not low-level selfishness like most of you practice, but true selfishness, which is something I proudly have. Because what I want is for myself, my wife, my children, to live the happiest, healthiest, safest life they can live. Everyone can live. And the only way that that's even remotely possible is if everyone else is living the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. If it really is about your selfishness, then there's that. For me, I find it really hard to sleep at night knowing that there are children being starved to death, that there are children being massacred and raped left and right by these people, that Hollywood is completely controlled by them, that our U.S. government is completely controlled by them. And see, what I just did is called answering a question. You ask me about motivation, and I give you an answer. That's the motivation. To prevent all of this, to prevent this cancer from spreading. Because do you honestly think when they're done killing the Palestinians, their bloodlust is just going to end? You must not know them very well. You must not be well read on who they are as a cult. That's selfish as fuck. What's wrong with you? The character is desperately trying to continue playing the role. And this is where it separates, the reality, the humanity from the bot. Right? Because the human goes, yeah, you know what, you are right. That is fucked up. Yeah, you know what, we did create the problem. So we are responsible for fixing it. Yeah, bombing children, raping children, all that, that's not okay. We need to do something about it. But they don't do that. I mean, having a war, we should be grateful we are not experiencing. Again, that's that Christian mentality that Goyim are supposed to have, right? Be grateful for the little bits that you do have. Don't covet, don't look at the elite and be like, wow, I want that life. I want to live like that. I think everybody should live like that. Don't think that way. Just be grateful for the little bit that you have, because it can be taken away from you. Right? I mean, it's all so obvious. This is all part of that biblical programming. Again, this is why you're Christian. Oh, not my children, not my people, not my family. Yep. Sounds like a standard white guy to me. And yet it's the same person that when it is them that's experiencing something, they cry, why isn't anybody helping me? Everybody should be dropping what they're doing and helping me. But again, you have to be capable of ignoring a lot of shit there, right? If we all focused on ourselves, the world would be better. Not true. Again, it's like you just don't understand. There are people that aren't, not everyone is the same mentally. There are many more followers than there are leaders. And there's nothing wrong with being a follower as long as you're following the good thing. But to say, you can't, how can you even work on yourself by yourself? Yourself is who got you where you are. The best thing you can do, like I can't stand, my wife's always talking about meditation. Sitting there and thinking in your own head is good for you like that. That's the way you fix things. Personally, I think going live and putting your opinions out there for anyone to be able to critique and seeing whether people can or can't, that's how you can figure out whether you're right or not. That's how you can gauge what you're thinking and what you're doing and its level of righteousness. National Academy Space Actors. There we go. Not true, Scorpion. If that was true, why would the world be so bad now? Everyone is selfish. That's true. Here we go. Here comes Adam. Good old Adam. When you see Adam, you can pretty much assume it's probably a piece of shit, Jay. But again, we have the provided talking point. The schizophrenia talking point, because I'm sitting here talking to the voices in my head, right? I have multiple personalities and shit, right? No one went to the moon, very true. Here we have somebody else saying that medication is needed because, again, if you ask questions that this person isn't smart enough to ask or answer, well, then you need medication. If you question the way the world works, you need medication. This is how it's presented to you. Are you from the U.S., the country who are scared of Iran? What? Like when people start talking about shit like on that level, it's just a joke. Like, hey, we're not scared. What are you fucking talking about, man? We're not scared. Am I supposed to respond like that? Yeah, the U.S. has been scared of Iran for a long time. But Iran is just another huge distraction. Again, I'm selfish. If my family is good, then I'm in good health, and the majority around me is good. I don't give a fuck about. So where do you draw the line? How far away do the people have to live before you start not caring? And again, so you're cool with the idea of your American tax dollars being taken by the billions and given to a foreign country, first world foreign country, so they can commit genocide against a small group of foreign people, a smaller group of foreign people, not small, millions actually, but American soldiers are going to be sent off to die. This is who controls the US government. This is who governs your life. And it's like your ignorance is key to this. You have to be ignorant. You have to not understand even a little bit about AIPAC. You have to not look into the history and the way it's always worked and the record that we're given and question it so you can maintain your incredibly selfish, you know. Again, you're somebody who apparently, like, you come home from work one day and, you know, the neighbor you don't like across the street, well, their kid is outside and he's crying sitting on the steps and you see him pounding on the door and there's no cars in the driveway or anything. And you see this little kid is just crying there. And you go, well, not my kid. Huh? I don't even like that guy, so fuck that kid. I think most of us, it doesn't matter who it is. If you see a kid struggling, you're going to help out. And yet, you know, there's a genocide taking place. And it's on your blood. Like, the blood is on your hands. As an American who has sat by and stayed quiet and elected the people in, if you believe in voting, then you played along. You're not calling this out. You call yourself a good Christian and all this other bullshit. You're a piece of shit. I mean, I just, if you're comfortable being a piece of shit, be a piece of shit. You're allowed to be a piece of shit. Just when it happens to you, when something happens to you, you better keep that same attitude. It's not me, it's not me and my family or the people I know, then nobody should care. And as long as you're good with that, I guess that's how it is. You are country scared of Iran. Sure. Why should I give the homeless guy $5 when that doesn't help me? Well, how do you know that that guy, I mean, you believe in the whole military defending your freedoms and all that shit, right? How do you know that's not some military guy? And reality is, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to give $5 to that guy. The government, who takes our money like it does, should be taking care of those people. If they have some sort of mental, like, if you live on the streets, you have a mental issue. There's just, you know, unless you're somebody who is, you know, literally you don't have any, you can't, you know, you've fallen into this weird cycle and you can't get out of it, which again is not something people like to think about when they think about homeless people. They don't think that everybody is a couple of bad decisions, a couple of bad situations away from being homeless. And then once you're homeless, it's really hard to get out of that situation because, you know, especially in today's world where everything is electronically monitored. And you say, you know, yes, hire me. I don't have an address for you to ship my paychecks to or anything. I'm homeless at the moment. You know, you're less likely to get hired than the guy who might not be as good as you but isn't homeless. But again, you know, that shouldn't be our responsibility. The worst one to me, the one that drives me crazier than anything, is the wounded warrior bullshit. How dare you try to guilt me into, you know, you sent that kid off to fucking fight for Israeli bullshit, not me. That kid wasn't fighting for my freedom. My freedom is never in danger by anyone other than the American system. And I'm actually in more danger from the police than I am from anybody else. But that's a whole different argument. But it's something that's never said. You're more likely to be killed by a police officer than you are anyone else. You're more likely to be harmed by a police officer. You're more likely to have, just about everything bad, negative happen to you by a police officer than anyone else. Because you'd be a good person. Wow, being a good person is foreign to you. Go to Iran! What is this? This person is so dumb. Matt, me giving it on, I won't change his life. He needs to do something. Again, this is your standard white guy who won't acknowledge how much help he got growing up, who won't acknowledge the privilege that he's experienced, won't acknowledge the racism that exists, won't acknowledge all the bullshit. So trying to break through the shell is much more difficult than people realize. You're challenging him on a fundamental level of who he is and who he believes his people are. He said it, my people. Because where your parents happen to have sex dictates, who your people are. And because your parents happen to have sex here in the United States, or your grandparents happen to have sex here, that makes you better than some kid who has no concept of statehood, has no concept of, was raised in the Muslim cult. So they have no concept of your Jesus. Everything, like it's so hard for people to think that as an American, you're propagandized. Just like when you see the old videos of the Nazis, and you see the flags everywhere and the people cheering and all that stuff, yeah, just replace it with American flags and it'll look very familiar to you. It might look foreign to you with those Nazi flags, but just put American flags there and you'll be like, oh, that's so cool. Look at all that patriotism. The average person thinks what their system, what their region's, been programmed to think. It's just so, again, it's just arrogance. It really does come down to arrogance. You have no empathy, aka what makes you human? Thanks for proving it. Right. You don't even feel bad for denying helping them. That's what's selfish about it. I mean, they're just like you said, this is a terrible person. This is a person who has spent literally months in my comment section begging for attention, constantly trying to distract and disrupt the feed. What do you think? The analogy of the homeless guy is, I can't give him a home. He needs to work to better himself. Otherwise, he's a waste to society. Like, if that doesn't sound like typical white guy, I don't know what does. Not even acknowledging that the system probably put him there. Not every homeless person is a druggie. Even if they are, they're probably a druggie for a reason. It's really hard to say that everybody that gets molested as a child should just be able to bounce back. Live a good, normal life. Not have any lingering effects from it or anything. And that shit is happening way more than people realize. I learned all of my history from a fat, uneducated guy filming on YouTube walking in the woods. Yep, we're in the woods. We are in the woods. And I'm fucking huge, man. Look how fat I am. Look at that shit. I'm so fat. And uneducated, right? Because, again, reading the stuff that they want us to know, that's how you uneducate yourself. Imagine being that stupid that instead of picking a specific thing and saying, wait a minute, dude, you're wrong about this because of this, you just go with these crazy fantasies you have. I have volunteered in Israel, the EMS, for 3 years now, and I can tell you from personal experience there's no genocide in Gaza, but there were over 1,200 innocent Israelis. First of all, it's not even 1,200. It's 1,139. And it's not Israelis, it's people in Israel. October 7th was a total false flag. There were no Israelis killed, and there were no hostages taken. And the fact that you have one of these dumb Jays on here lying, this is what they do. Yeah, well, I was there. And then I was also there for this and this and this. And my cousin was there for this. Yeah. Like this is, you should believe me because I say so, because I'm a dumb Jay and Jays don't lie. Who give a fuck about Palestinians? Fuck them, yeah? Again, must be a J. I don't care who you are. You know, if you see that children are being hurt and you don't care about it, I can only assume you've proven it. I absolutely hate you, says some dumbass. Help is more often than not unhelpful. He's also in this system, seems to be getting by just fine too. I'm glad to keep it really good. And the occupation, free Palestine. Yeah, but it's not free Palestine. As much as I agree with you on that sentiment, at the end of the day, what do we say? Free Palestine to the Syrians, the Lebanese, the Yemeni, you know, the Saudis, the Iranians? No. Free Palestine doesn't free us. Free Palestine is just a symptom of the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is the cult that is committing the genocide. The cult that controls the United States government. The cult that's constantly raping children in Hollywood. We need to you know, focus on what we're supposed to focus on, not what they want us focusing on. Yup, mind your own business, says somebody commenting on my feed. Somebody commenting on my feed where I'm talking about whatever is telling me to mind my own business. And it's too stupid to see the irony in that. No Israelis were killed. Bro needs to check himself into a ward. Georgia Guidestones were something that you were supposed to look at. That's why they were there to begin with. Look at this crying shit. These people died for you. Who died for me? Nobody died for me. Good thing I work with police. No, he doesn't have a job. This is all he does all day. Yep. Go look at yesterday's 5:30 feed and the day before's 5:30 feed and the day before that I was live for 15 hours. And again, this is what somebody does when they can't actually answer for what I'm talking about. No, he doesn't. He wants to be a victim. Yep, I'm talking about me being victimized, aren't I? Look at how desperate this shit is. It's unfeasible to even consider that. If you want the Epstein files released, then we have to do the same thing. It all comes down to the same shit. Whether it's stopping the genocide, whether it's stopping the pedophilia in Hollywood, stopping the mismanagement, the control of our country, any of these, whether it's chemtrails, whether it's vaccines, whether it's you name the conspiracy theory. If you want to fix it, it comes down to the Goyim need to unite and overthrow the Jays that are controlling our narrative. You can't just fix one little piece of it. They won't let it happen. They'll use all the other tentacles to protect the one tentacle you're attacking. The only way you kill the monster is not by cutting off tentacles one by one. You have to cut off the head. Especially when the tentacles grow back faster than you can cut them off. So where is Palestine? It's on lots and lots of maps. Go look for it. It's very well, It's not only is it on lots of maps, if you read the history, especially the Jewish history, they talk about Palestine all the time. So that whole I'm stupid, I'm Charlie Kirk. Where is Palestine? I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about. That place doesn't exist. When that's your best argument, again, you have nothing. You clearly have nothing. Are you MAGA? Yeah, I sound like it, don't I? Oh, look, somebody, we have a pedophile, an acknowledged pedophile. Somebody yelling out Trump slogans. Pedophile. At this point, if you still support Trump, if you're capable of overlooking what he's not just been proven of doing, but been accused of doing, especially, at the very least covering up for Epstein, Maxwell, this whole pedophile thing. If you're capable of overlooking that, you have a search history you don't want people looking at. You have a file in your computer that you don't want people looking at. You might be able to tell yourself that you're better than most because you don't actually act on your compulsions and go actually see kids. But the fact that you have a file full of child exploitation materials on your phone or on your computer or wherever in the cloud, you're just as bad. You're just as bad as those people that are actually doing it. Yep. Yeah, I'm the poster child for stupidity because I know things that you don't know. And because I ask questions that you're not smart enough to ask or answer. Yep. That makes me stupid. Maybe you should smoke another blunt. While I'm smoking this one? What sense would that make? Like, you can't even, you have to do a better job with your your talking points. Use them more correctly. Use them in the proper order. This is bad, man. This is really bad. It's going down, brother. This shit's going down. We're gonna have to fix it. Only way we fix it is if we unify and overthrow the Jays in charge. Y'all be in his comments, I'll be in his guts. Ew, are you trying to hit on me? Even the insults are moved. What could they possibly be? They couldn't be anything other than that. They have to be stupid. They can't, seriously. The guy who thinks we should kill pedos, stop the genocide, and overthrow the J control scheme, who's going to oppose that? It's just like it's demonstratively stupid. It's easy to prove how stupid these guys are. Yeah, that was smart, huh? Get hung up on a word and skip over it. That's what happens sometimes. Demonstratively. Whatever. But this is this is their best. I mean, if your whole goal in life is to troll me, is to wait for me to go live and then drop whatever you're doing so you can come sit here and watch for hours and talk your crybaby shit. That's your whole thing. If you think that's supposed to make me feel bad or think I'm wrong, or it just adds to it. And to think that you're this obsessed with me and you still can't, once you get off the feed, you know what I'm going to talk about. You'd think you would educate yourself more, especially since I'm wrong and the educational material should just be widely available to you. You don't think to do any of that shit. It's just crybaby shit over and over again. You know? In what world does that make sense? Gotta love how the feed keeps getting up there, and then all at the exact same time, 20 people are like, fuck this. And then it builds back up, and then suddenly another 15 people are gone, all at the same time. That's how it works, man. That's how things work. Did the comments get shut off? Anytime we have a little lull in the comments, at this point now, I just assume they get shut off. Which again is one of those things that doesn't seem to happen to anyone else. But it's totally normal, don't worry about it. I'm just waiting to see. Somebody gonna respond? Respond, let me know. Come on. Need a test. It's been about 3 minutes since I was paying attention, maybe 5 minutes. Last comment I can see is even the insults are moot. Matt doesn't usually get the last comment. Usually the last comment's something stupid. But apparently the comment section has been shut off again, so I'll be white black. Join us again. Pedophiles, kill yourself.